from our next guest, Mick Swagger. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, very well, man. And you've come all the way down to Bournemouth from Reading this evening. So
Basingstoke.
Basingstoke,
Yeah,
sorry.
pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, almost there.
Yeah.
But no, big up for that, man. That's it's quite an effort, quite a drive to
No
come
problem,
down.
man. Thanks for having me on the show.
No worries at all,
I'm
man.
a big fan.
You're a grassroots fan.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, Jake loves that.
I love it. I love our first. Well,
On the iPad days.
Yeah, you know it. You're definitely a listener.
100%, man. Yeah, you can tell that kind of significant jump in quality from episode 8 onwards. But we won't go into that, man. But so Villianaire is your new, is it your debut album?
It is,
it?
yeah.
It's solely produced by yourself.
Yeah.
Man, tell us a little bit about that, man, because that's props to that.
Well, I basically wanted to be a rapper when I was quite young, and nobody wanted to let me spit on their beats. So I was like, okay, I need to make some beats, and then sort of built up from the bottom really. And I've always played music and been into it and stuff. And did a music tech course at college and just failed quite badly at that, but just picked up enough of Cubase to be able to
Mate, I love how
record shit.
candid you are. Just I wanted to rap, no one would let me hop on. So I did it myself. I like that, man. I like that.
Cheers.
So you started into. Have you been rapping for a long time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I was about 16.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 34 now. So
Yeah.
I've been rapping for ages.
Perfecting your magnum opus.
yeah. I what I used to do. Did you ever listen to any Ninja Tune, like Mr. Scruff and Amon Tobin and stuff?
Time.
They had all sort of instrumental kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So before I could make beats or anything, I just used to rap over them. And then when I moved in with my friend, I got a big loan, got a pickup truck, which was a bad investment, and an MPC, and then just hammered the MPC for 2 or 3 years, and just got loads of samples.
Mm-hmm.
And my mate's well into hip hop as well, so he was quite happy to have just irritating, repetitive bits of songs I'm trying to do in the sitting room. And
what was the pickup truck for?
just for work.
Oh, right, okay.
I got that watch. Remember that one that they trashed on Top Gear?
Yeah,
That Hilux.
The Toyota Hilux.
Yeah, I bought one of them.
Did you trash
it? No, it was it came trashed. And,
Wasn't there some weird checklist you had to make an album? It's pickup truck,
Yeah. Be a gardener.
That's why I thought I'd mention it, because I wasn't sure if maybe you did something out the back of the pickup truck.
Oh, right,
you know, DJ'd out the back of it
Used
and
my
drove
mobile
around the
beats.
country. I
used
don't know.
as an instrument or something.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
man. Nice.
But the pickup truck lasted a year, and I've still got the MPC now. So that was a better investment. But yeah, it's good. I basically just made beats and just sort of did it for fun, really.
Yeah.
Always wanted to obviously make records with big artists or whatever, or do live shows and get an album together. But it's quite difficult in Basingstoke because there's not
much
really,
to see there.
No, not really. And, I kind of had the choice between either go for the music thing or go for the gardening thing. I was well, the gardening thing is money straight away.
You got to pay the bills, man,
That's
don't
it,
you?
yeah.
So, tell us a bit more about gardening.
You looking to change your job?
I think Aiden's the one with green fingers here.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Every week.
You goes to Amsterdam for the tulips, don't you?
Mate, well, I'm all about flower ting, you know?
Oh man, Jesus Christ! But so the name Mick Swagger. Is it a play on words? Is it just Mick Jagger rhymed, or is it a reference from the Loud House character?
So I had never heard of the Loud House character until I released the album, and someone mentioned it in a review.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else mentioned him on a YouTube comment, and I thought I better look into this.
Yeah.
It's some mad that fucking racist frog from Twitter or something thing. So I'm in the clear. But yeah, it was basically a Mick Jagger play on words. But I wanted to do you remember when Trap first came out?
Yeah.
With Bauer and R.L. Grime and stuff, and loads of guys had real over the top Frostradamus and that kind of thing. I was quite. It was one of the many times where I've made hip hop and been I've really got something here, and then I put it on the internet, and then no one really like cares, and I'm like, oh, maybe hip hop's not for me. And then, like I'm like, oh, I'll try trap a little bit.
Yeah.
I like that. And I thought, oh, Mick Swagger would be a good name. And then I didn't make any trap. And then, like, I didn't really make music for like about a year. And then when I got back on it, I thought, yeah, Mick Swagger would be quite a good name.
So did you go through kind of waves of inspiration, like times where you were kind of like, no? Like...
Yeah, a little bit. Just like, I guess like in the normal, like, kind of creative, like, sort of way. But
writer's block striking and all that kind of thing.
But then like trying to actually like do it and get it heard and that kind of thing, like I am now. Like there's a couple of things that really helped. I can't remember what order they were, but you know, like Brap, the app, yeah.
So I swear, like Foreign Beggars were like instrumental in setting that up.
Yeah, so I think,
Pavan was involved in setting that up.
I think it's his brother Nicky.
Yeah.
And then another guy, and then like a software developer, like came up with it. And it basically kind of looks like Instagram, but then
you spit your bars into it, don't you?
Yeah, and then you can upload beats on it. And I think I heard about it like when it was about 6 or 7 months old, and they didn't do any advertising, but what they did do was they just got like massive like UK hip hop like names to like spit over small time people's beats and that kind of thing. So it really like it's like a clever way of like promoting it.
I really liked that concept when it came out. I thought this is really kind of like instrumental to helping, to your point, like smaller heads getting a voice. I thought, wow, it's such a simple concept as well.
I think I had that.
Brat, I had it as well. I never uploaded anything. I was too scared.
I've heard of it, but I didn't ever know actually what it was.
Yeah.
Could you rap over like your like mainstream beats as well? Like you could get like a Still Dre beat.
I think
Is that
so.
the one I'm thinking about?
No, so well you could do. What you'd have to do is put that beat on there.
Yeah.
But like most people, you quite quickly like get like a feel for like the sort of level of quality, and there's so many people on there who are doing like really good beats that you don't really like
need to.
To. Like a few people would just like upload them rapping with like a Dre beat or something like playing on the computer, but it's a lot more fun to like find somebody's beat you like, and then when you rap on it, it like comes up on their timeline and that kind of thing. And so so a couple of people on the album, like Alpha Memphis.
He's American, isn't he?
Yeah, he's from Queens.
Because he was on he's jumped on the track with like Cool G Rap, and he's he's in like a crew called Genius Sounds, and they do like a lot of hip hop, sort of like I do, and then a lot of like sort of auto tune, but like the hip hop kind of side of auto tune. It's like I don't really like auto tune stuff, like as a general rule. But massive T-Pain fan. Just like, do you ever watch Tiny Desk concerts?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. He was on there, and he actually really impressed me though, because
he doesn't do auto tune.
He didn't do auto tune, and he was just like, oh yeah, it's don't worry, the auto tune's been kind of, I can't remember what the phrase he used, but he was just like, it's just been kind of like plugged into me or something.
Nice.
But he was so talented though. I thought, man, it's crazy, because I think a lot of these commercial artists, obviously they are like incredibly talented. It's just selling out. I'll use that term loosely, because I think anyone would really. Speaking honestly, you would, if you were offered a contract and offered that much money. And you've got like a family to support, and you're just kind of like, you know what, I'm going to make the most of this.
Yeah.
It's a fine line, isn't it?
I always wanted to get a t-shirt with Vanilla Ice on it, and then something like I'd sell out to, or you'd sell out to, or something like that. So I think like, because people fucking hate him for like selling out or whatever, but he was
What did he sell out with?
Ice Ice Baby.
Ice Ice Baby, man.
Was that just that song?
Yeah. Not very much.
I mean, like, well, obviously Ice Ice Baby, but like, what did he?
Well, he was like rapping. He was. I think he was kind of like.
All right, stop.
The first half of
collaborate and listen.
Ice is back for a brand new invention. Something.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Was he like promoting like brands and stuff?
No, it was just that he was like trying to come up.
You just did that song and nothing else.
Yeah, basically, and then he was
a
commercial like here.
Yeah, he was like a bit of a fad, wasn't he?
A little bit, yeah. But like, I think at the time he was like living in this car and like just wanted to make money through music. And someone was like, "We'll give you like $1 million to." I don't know if he wrote it or whether someone else wrote it, and then he just like blew up with it.
You got to respect that though. At the same
Yeah.
time, yeah, it's kind of it's corny, but
I mean, I
it's
feel
iconic.
maybe-
Like people still not listen to it. I guess you wouldn't like bump it unless it was ironically.
Yeah.
But it's something that plays at like at a club or like and you'll be like, oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
All right, stop.
A bit like you actually
Yeah,
on
yeah.
stage.
Oh yeah,
Stag
yeah.
do.
So my stag do, we went to this hip hop brunch in Camden Market, and I like somewhat regrettably selected to do hip hop karaoke to. I think I might have told you this to Pharaoh Monch,
I
Simon
think you
Says.
said it on the podcast.
And like in your
Yeah.
mind, in my mind, I was just like, yeah, it's a relatively simple song to rap along to, but Jesus Christ, it's so difficult. Like Pharaoh Monch's levels, he's just
I've not been
should
to,
not have done that.
any like hip hop karaoke, but
Yeah.
I don't want to like phrase it wrong. So this like there's a word that you couldn't say that's in a lot of rap songs.
Yeah.
What happens if there's like a rap song and that's in it?
I think that conversation came up, but luckily it didn't happen for me. But I guess
Yeah.
You just don't say it.
you
do
just
you?
don't say it. You're mindful
Yeah.
of it, don't you?
I'd
Yeah.
always like to do "Give Me Some More" by Busta Rhymes.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
He
yeah.
says it loads, and like,
But-
it's part of the flow.
Yeah,
so
it is.
you're like, it's just gonna fuck everything up.
Props
But-
to you if
so-
you can rap along to that whilst like
That's the other
intoxicated.
reason. I'd love to do it. And I
Yeah.
think it's spot on, but it's that one reason I
Oh,
can't
that's
do
a good idea.
"Yo, spliff with a weed at, give me some more." Yeah, I won't even carry on rapping.
it.
Just build
But
it.
yeah,
Anyway.
because you're stumped every time, as you say.
What
Yeah,
a challenge it would be if you had to do hip hop karaoke, but you had to do the censored version. So you'd have to
Nice.
do the karaoke, but you couldn't say any of the. That'd be a challenge.
You love censored
I
rap,
love
don't
censored rap.
Yeah, you do go on
He
it.
loves
Like, go on
censored
about
rap.
it a lot, don't you?
Do you know, that was one episode we've never done.
you? Yeah, we will do that. Censored rap is a funny topic because
Yeah.
back in like the early 2000s, when everything was just kind of radio friendly. What was I listening to the other day? Do you remember that track, West Side by TQ? It's like an
The
R&B
whole
track,
wide
yeah.
West Side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was like the radio version. It was like it's really PG, and I couldn't get into it. I was just like,
Yeah.
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 That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
And I like it when they change lyrics as well to make it radio friendly.
It's,
So,
it's an interesting
do you
thought
ever have? I
experiment.
bought the single for My Name Is,
Yeah.
and he on the single.
You had the.
You had the censored one,
Yeah.
and then you've got the album version, and then the explicit version on the original single was like, so I'm probably gonna fuck it up now, but on the album, there's the line like, is it running over pedestrians in a spaceship while they're screaming at me, let's just be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the clean version is like something else, and then the explicit version on the single was raping lesbians while they're screaming at me.
Let's
You're
just be
like,
friends.
yeah.
Just found out my mum does no more Sid than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they do that on like records as well, don't they? You've got like if you get like a 12-inch, they've got like the instrumental, the clean version, and the explicit. haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
man.
we'll do an episode of Censored Rap just for Drake one
I'm
day,
telling
man.
you, it's definitely worth looking
It is
into.
jokes, man. It is funny. So when did you first get? Obviously, you were like young when you first started rapping, but when did you come through with like US stuff? So because I'm a bit older, as like you are, I hope you don't mind me saying that. Whereas these boys are a little bit younger.
Yeah.
So Aiden came through with UK hip hop straight from other genres.
Fire emo.
Yeah, he knows, right?
Yes.
Grassroots listener.
I love that, man.
Whereas like I came through, your kind of usual avenues like Wu-Tang and like Gangstar and all that kind of stuff, and West Coast stuff, Dre, Eminem, Snoop, and all that kind of thing. So is that a
so
similar
it was
thing for
basically-
you as well?
Yeah, so like the first rap song I ever heard, I can't remember, I was like 10 or 11, and it was like an amazing like collab. Do you ever see the Godzilla film? Like the old one?
Oh yeah. I
it
thought
was
you were
on
going to
that.
say the '97 one. Was like, even though that was like, it had that
Oh, yeah,
Jamiroquai
that's
track,
it,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
sick. I love Deeper Underground by Jamiroquai.
So
It's
yeah, it's that
a fucking
album.
incredible
So
song.
the first song, I basically...
I want that at my funeral, by the way. Yeah.
It was, do you have that album?
No, I don't know.
Oh,
no.
right, so yeah, so the track 2 on that album was Jimmy Page and Puff Daddy.
Oh yeah, You Can Hate Me Now.
No,
wasn't it?
it's called Come With Me.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
And,
Yeah.
They sampled Kashmir, and then in the video they had Jimmy Page
Oh
playing.
yeah.
But I was 10 and like.
Cashmere
growing up,
for
like,
young listeners is Led Zeppelin, by the way.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Page from
Yeah, from Led Zeppelin, yeah.
It's a mental collaboration, but
it shouldn't work really, should it?
and I haven't,
Did it
like,
work?
Well, I thought it did. When I was 10, I thought it did. But yeah, I basically had like an HMV voucher for my birthday and didn't know what to get, and then put the TV on, and there was like Puff Daddy like rapping on a roof, and Jimmy Page like.
Do you know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of "Hate Me Now" with Nas, because we talked about it on a music video episode where he's carrying like the cross and all that, like religious iconography. It's really like grandiose, and like Puff Daddy's there, just like.
Is that the start of the shiny suit like period?
I can't remember. Yeah, probably.
They're on like the roof
Hype Williams
of, like,
kind of stuff.
Is it by like that soul food like place
Yeah.
or something? But like they're on like a roof with like the big shiny suits and like a wind machine.
It's definitely like some kind of like vanity project. For most of that stuff at the time was for P Diddy though, I think.
But and that was like the first rap song, and then I bought the Godzilla album, and like it's cool because there's like Green Day on there, Rage Against the Machine, so like for like a preteen,
like a bit of rage, man.
Like mental, like introduction to like music that isn't your mum and dad's like Hollies and Beatles like tapes and stuff in the car, and then
props to the Hollies, eh? I'm into the Hollies, man.
And I've got like Puff Daddy Forever, I think later that year, which you're like did some real like grimacing faces at like the Puff Daddy.
I don't think we've spoken this much about Puff Daddy, like, but I like it though. I like how we're a very diverse podcast. We chat a lot about different rappers, but P Diddy hasn't been spoken about. Love for the Puff.
See,
Hashtag.
Aiden has love for the Puff.
Because Drink Champs is like.
Don't know what that means.
Yeah, Drink Champs is on his TV channel now.
Okay.
That was good, Jake. I like that.
So just to elaborate, Drinks Champs is like Noriega's podcast, and it's basically like a much. So they have like loads of bottles of like booze on the table, and they're all just
Drinks.
getting blazed. Yeah, exactly. Drinks. Yeah, clues in the name, and like Noriega hosts it. He has like rap legends on. You've had like Wu-Tang, like Talib Kweli. I think like Dead Prez have been on it. All sorts.
Yeah.
And they just start off like conversations fairly normal, and they just get like progressively more and more pissed throughout the episode. And it just it just comes nonsensical.
Yeah.
It's like incoherent, but it's still well entertaining. That's from YouTube as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the early ones, Noriega doesn't get like that drunk anymore.
Yeah.
But he did one with. He used to get just absolutely shit faced, and he did one with Dame Dash, and like Dame Dash is like really fucking funny, but he like just how people say pause or like for like no homo.
Yeah.
Fucking Dame, it does my head in, but like Dame Dash does it all the time, and you're like everything he says, he's like pause. He's like pass me that pause. You're like nobody thought like you were being gay for saying like could you pass me a lighter or something, but he's like super competitive, and I think like him and Nori like go quite far back.
Yeah.
And like Nori just likes getting drunk, and then Dash is like really competitive, and they just do like shot after shot, like about an hour in, and by the end of the podcast, like Noriega just can't speak.
Yeah.
And, like
This is on Revolt TV, is it?
that's it. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna subscribe to this. I need to watch this.
It's
I've never
wicked,
seen
man.
this before. I need to watch it.
Yeah, they're really good. Like, Noriega he sounds like he's not quite like with it.
I love Nori, man.
And,
Exhibits
but,
on
like,
it
he's
as
so
well.
fucking
Mate,
funny.
everyone's
Exhibit
been
one's
on it.
wicked.
He's always going on like, this is a podcast for the legends, yeah, when Wu-Tang were on there, but there's no structure to it at all.
Yeah.
Redman's
no
on it as
structure.
well.
The Redman one's good. The I'd start with Royster 5'9".
Yeah.
If you like Eminem and D12, he's got loads of like D12 like stories and how he like fell out with Bizarre and stuff. And
Did you watch the Ja Rule one?
yeah, so he's been on it twice. The second time he talks about Fire Festival.
Does he?
And like he puts
Our
loads of
favourite
it on the other guy. It's
That is
really
our
good.
favourite topic, man.
Oh man.
But yeah, to be fair to him, they are like, we're going to talk about Fire Festival. He's like, cool. And they talk about it for about half an hour. And yeah, he doesn't really...
You know the woman
Totally
on Fire
blame.
Festival where he lost like 50 grand and she had a little cafe? She
Oh,
started
yeah,
a
the local.
GoFundMe page.
Yeah, but no, she was reimbursed, man.
Yeah, she got...
Yeah, people did a whip round and she was made whole, honestly, like,
Yeah.
fair play. I felt so sorry for the locals, man. They were fucked
Same.
over. Did you watch that documentary?
I've seen bits of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who was co-organising it with Ja Rule, because Ja Rule was more of, I won't go as far as saying silent partner because he was pretty vocal throughout it all.
Yeah.
But the matey boy who actually organised it was just like a complete sociopath, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was released on bail, and then he started his next venture. So he had the mailing list for everyone who signed up to the festival, and he was just like sending them all this kind of spam emails, trying to like
Basically, to like buy tickets to the Met Gala.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's like invite only by Vogue.
Yeah, all these kind of offers which are like far too good to be true.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it, like the nerve of that guy, man, the fucking Ja Rule, like yeah.
I was just gonna say, I can't believe Amber Rose is on it as well.
Yeah, she's really good.
Is she? Is she
Yeah.
actually like into hip hop as well? Is she?
She is, yeah.
Oh,
Oh
man.
mate, she was with Wiz Khalifa, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was, wasn't she?
Oh man. Did you do you ever watch the Needle Drop of Anthony Fantano? So he's like an online like album reviewer. Do you know what I mean? You know, like the skinhead with the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've watched any. I see it. He pops up. Like,
He's
on
a
my,
really
like,
he's a
suggested
really
things.
fucking good critic. Like
Didn't want to get like millions of views.
yeah, he's probably the most famous. So
Yeah.
I mean, like he reviewed like a Post Malone album and like negatively, and Post Malone like referred him, like actually called him out on his album. He's that influential. Do you know what I mean?
Mad.
So not Post Malone's anything to go by, but whatever but he recently reviewed Logic's latest album that came out,
Yeah.
and he's just like out to get Logic, and it's jokes, man. It's so funny because like Logic is like when his early stuff was about, I was like, okay, yeah, this guy's got good flow. This guy's like, I'm quite into it. And then as he went on and on and on, and more like subsequent releases came out, I was kind of like, yeah, this guy's just like jacking everyone else's styles and flows.
Yeah.
And Anthony Fantano's just like, basically, yeah, he emulates every single other rapper out there. And this new album he's just released, he was like, yeah, it's terrible. He just doesn't have a voice. All he's concerned about saying is that people are hating on me.
Because his dad's black.
Yeah, he's always talking about being mixed race. And
Always
it's just,
talks about it, really. That's what annoys me the most about him, is that he really banks on the fact that his dad's black. And like he kind of like...
it's not so much that, really. It's just the fact that, like, at first, he didn't really... He said it a lot, and then people jumped on that, and they were like, why are you saying that? And then, rather than just brushing past it and just doing his own thing anyway, he's like, fuck the haters, everyone else, it's your problem. Where it's like, well, why don't you just, like, focus on honing your own craft and kind of... I guess identity, because you don't have one at the moment. You're just mimicking all these different people. But yeah, Anthony Fantano really went in on him. I was just like, damn, son.
Oh man.
Because I started watching that Netflix series he's on recently.
Yeah,
It's not Defiant One.
the Rapture.
The
Rapture. Yeah. I started because I've never really again, hip hop podcast, barely know shit about American hip hop. But yeah, I've never really like come across him before. But I was watching his episode of that. He seems like quite an interesting guy. But
He
I've
switched
never really
on.
properly listened to his music.
So I watched it with my my best man Rowley, so Tom, and we were watching it, and he goes, "I'll tell you what, like, Logic seems like a bit of an evil genius." Like, do you know Logic? Yeah?
I don't know. I know him, but I don't know his
So
stuff.
just the way he kind of came across in that documentary.
Yeah, at the beginning when he's just like, I'm thinking about what you're thinking about and shit like that. Like he comes across really weird. Like he's saying how what I'm thinking about now is the fact that what you're gonna do with my recording and stuff like that, and I'm not trying to make it as good as possible, but also be defensive of what I'm gonna say, so you don't like take it. Like he just vocalizes all of this.
Yeah.
It's a bit like fuck, man. Like,
and
Like
there
in a
were-
good way.
he-
Or,
I don't know. It's just sort of like
It's
you said,
intense,
evil
man.
genius.
Yeah, because there was a part of it, wasn't there, where he's got like he's followed by like a big entourage of people and like a stage crew and stuff. And there's one part where like someone fucked up with like some aspect. I'm not too sure what the live show, what it was, sound or like lighting or something. And he got really like kind of like passive aggressive with him. He was just like, "You're not going to do that again, are you?" Like it was kind of like a.
oh man.
You're like, "Oh God, like what's going on?" Almost like he could fire him any moment. And you're like, okay, that's
I got that impression as well because when he's talking about it, obviously he's well in his right because he is hiring everyone's a sort of
exactly.
musician.
Yeah, I get that.
But he was just like, at the end of the day, I'm paying you, you're working for me and stuff like that. And it's weird because it's like it's all stuff but to see it actually someone saying it, it's like it kind of just makes you a bit of an arsehole just to see someone say it, but then it's something that's true, isn't it?
No,
It's weird.
you are right. I mean, to a certain extent, he has to be like assertive if it is his money he's throwing into it. But it's just, I don't know, something caught me cold about him. I was just like, nah.
Sounds like
Especially
a bit of a
like
bean.
yeah.
And there was like some.
Bean.
Bit of a beat.
Oh man, you always, mate. It's eloquently put, but he's got like a massive fan base.
Notice me.
Yeah. Did you see like there was like some kids who asked for a hug who was crying in that documentary? Did you see that?
I've not seen
Yeah,
it.
man.
So one of his fans was just like, "I love you," and he was just like, because Logic's thing, he had this like track that came out couple of years ago, and the title of the track was like the suicide hotline
suicide
number.
hotline,
It was
yeah.
actually like the number to call.
Yeah.
And it was all about, and the message it was conveying was a positive one, and it's good, helping people. But I think he's used that kind of to an advantage in accruing a big fan base. Do you know what I mean? And capitalising on kind of, kids who are a little bit lost and whatnot. But this one kid who was like a major fan of his got on the stage and he was like, I just want to hug you and all this, and Logic was like, yeah, all right then. It just seemed really disingenuous. And the kid was like, couldn't even get his words out. He was like,
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
When I
weird.
saw that, man, it
So
was
weird.
just like, it was very obviously. No offense to the guy or whoever. I'm sure you've got everyone, you've got your shit to deal with. But where the fact that it was filmed, and the fact that it was like, I don't know. I just kind of have an issue with when you obviously that stuff happens, man. But when it's like it's filmed, it's put into production, it's sort of made money out through Netflix and through a series. It just seems like a bit ingenuous. So it's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, man. I don't know,
So
but
has he like funded the documentary himself?
I think it was just an
I'm not
episode.
sure.
So it's an
Oh,
episode,
okay.
His own episode,
featuring
yeah.
a different artist every episode, and he was
Yeah.
just featured on the first one.
It's
I think
so weird
T.I.
that you would be like ragging on that guy who works for you. So if you've got like a crying kid, you're like, I really hope people like me and think I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
And then
You
you're
see him like hugging him,
but-
looking in the camera.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I want
Winking.
people to know that I'm
You
stern
getting
with my
this? Yeah, you
stuff.
getting this?
What a weirdo, man.
The documentary is definitely overshadowed though by Defiant Ones because
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, have you seen that?
No, you haven't, have you?
So maybe the first 20 minutes of the Dre one. I guess like the first episode. I did really like how Dre doesn't seem to like have a clue how like the internet works. Where he's like, and he's just. Is he like 60 maybe? He's like
Something like
he's
that,
like
yeah,
60.
yeah.
he's in his 50s.
Oh yeah. So he's like, who is the guy from Fast and Furious who he's hanging out with?
Tyrese.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just looked.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
lets it slip, doesn't he? Just like the first hip hop billionaire, yo.
He just seems like so like excited and
Yeah.
like just a bit drunk, and you're like, I thought you were like a real serious like businessman, and then he's like had a couple of drinks and he's like, well, we've got like a big deal.
Yeah,
And, and then he was like, cuts to like him like overlooking like the sea on his like boat, and
Oh man, isn't
like,
he like on the Amalfi Coast or something? Just
Yeah.
like rapping. Oh, you bastard, man, living the dream. But to be fair, like Dre is a legend. Like he's really. I think that gave some good insight into his work ethic, because normally it's kind of, oh yeah, Dr. Dre. You just kind of associate him to his lyrics and his beats,
yeah.
but you don't. I mean, there have been several documentaries over the years, but to actually get insight into how kind of single-minded he is and how
And
he
to, like,
approaches
focus on
things.
like one particular thing,
Exactly.
rather than like, oh, here's a guy who makes beats and he's worked with all these famous people you've heard
Yeah.
of. When it's like, here's like a big famous business deal that you've heard about. Yeah, let's like, because that's interesting.
And he doesn't
Not just
endorse.
Dre as well, there's Jimmy Iovine and kind of his story and
Yeah.
how they kind of. I like how the documentary has like Dre's story from NWA and that, and then his story, and then
They-
kind of like
yeah.
How they meet in
and
the
then they
middle.
meet at like episode whatever, and then it's kind of Interscope and how that's built and like
It was really
fine,
interesting.
Eminem and all that bit.
I
and
just
then
I just
there's-
love how instrumental Jimmy Iovine was to pop culture
it's
as we
crazy.
know it.
Yeah.
From like
Signing like Marilyn Manson and stuff like that, and all
yeah,
these different
'cause
people.
he,
Like,
he,
it's
he
crazy.
signed, he signed Trent Reznor. He was after Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails for like a time, got him, and then he was like, okay, I'll give you the autonomy to sign who you want. So he went for Marilyn Manson, and then like Dre with Eminem. And I've spoke about this before. Like Marilyn Manson and Eminem are like two sides of the same
Polar
coin.
opposites,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Just different genres, but they're effectively the same kind of artists. Both provocateurs,
Yeah.
both kind of like alternative, both
Parents hate them.
both
like,
controversial,
good with, like, teenagers
exactly,
and that, yeah.
exactly, man. But and then Jimmy Iovine later on did, it was like Gwen Stefani and Pharrell, they're both popular, put them together, release music. It's like Timbaland and like Nelly Furtado, they're both popular, put them together. Like Lady Gaga, like everyone. I was just like, fucking hell, this guy is like the mastermind behind everything.
Didn't he
Like,
sign Gwen Stefani like really early on, but then she didn't really do anything, and he kind of like put her up in like a villa, left her to like do it, and then suddenly I was like, all right, you're ready now.
Well, I
and then
think
kind
I'm not sure. Did he have anything to do with No Doubt, or did he just sign her as a solo artist? Because No Doubt were like obviously like
of, yeah.
a really big band in the
Big-
90s
yeah, yeah,
anyway. I'm not sure whether he had anything to do with them. But
Yeah, I can't remember now.
I found it really interesting because I didn't know about this. How obviously when after the Chronic came out, the other albums that Dre put out, they kind of all
Well,
flopped,
yeah,
didn't they?
it was just Aftermath, wasn't it? Aftermath flopped terribly, and then he was just like, shit, I need an artist, and then
Who did we have on, guest-wise, who brought Aftermath over...
What, Dr. Dre, when Dr. Dre came on?
Yeah.
Who did we have on? And they were like, oh, I had a choice of buying 2 records.
No, man, you're talking about... It wasn't anyone we had on.
Was it not a guest we had on?
I think that's another podcast you
What
listened
story
to.
were you talking?
I think that was...
Oh, no, that was that other hip-hop podcast.
You're getting mixed
Oh,
up.
is that on Romish's one?
Yeah, you're getting mixed up with the big time.
Who was it?
Blurred Lines. Wasn't it... I can't remember, man, but...
What's his name? I know his name.
No, I know. It was the Radio 1...
Is that Radio 1?
Reggie
Yates.
Yeah, Reggie Yates. So, man, anyway, go back to yourself, man. So, like, producing and making Villianaire, like, firstly, so you bought some merch of you. I'm really digging that mug. So, what's the inspiration behind the Monopoly theme?
In the Call Me video, like the first video I did, I just wanted it to be like... maybe I wanted it to be like Puff in his shiny suit. Like, I quite wanted it to be like, well, I'm gonna be like in like this shitty farm with like it's all kind of gross and stuff. So I'll try and like dress a bit smart, and sort of the verses are like split. Like each verse is like split into like 8 bars. So it's like, call me Mr. Swagger, call me like Il Paxton. So I wanted to...
That's a sick
like,
bar. And also, like, yeah, for the record, you do look a bit like Frank Zappa. Check the lyrics.
So I was like, well, I want to like have like kind of 4 characters, and it's quite difficult to like portray that in like a 3-minute video, but yeah, so for one of them, I wanted to be like sort of over the top and like basically just throw Monopoly money around. And then for the Hulk Hogan video, I like basically realised, listening to like the song, like with like doing a video in mind. So I'm like, okay, so for this lyric, we could like be here, or like I could have like this prop or something, and it would be cool if we did this. And like I sort of noticed, I basically like talk about money in every verse. And, so
Money,
like,
bitches, and bling, man.
So
That's hip hop.
For the like Hulk Hogan one, when I like mentioned some money, I don't think it's in the final cut, but like I kept like holding up like Monopoly money again, and then because we had like the podcast I do as well called the Villianaires, I quite like the Villianaire as like a title, and I thought it's all like in like the money sort of
and
kind
it's,
of realm and that.
Man.
So yeah, and
it's an extortionate amount as well. It's just like
that's it, yeah.
The only way you can make it rain like a vanillion. Oh, I can't even say it myself. That's ridiculous. Is Monopoly money. So I like that concept, man. That's pretty cool.
Cheers. And, but yeah, I thought because I wanted to just do like as much as possible on my own, and like. I had all like the Monopoly money and like quite a nice camera that like we bought for like a holiday to Iceland, which I like haven't really used. So I thought I'd just like put the money like on like a little board.
Any particular favourite edition of Monopoly over the years? Is there a Basingstoke edition?
There's not. I really want to get. Do you ever play Fallout?
I haven't. No,
I've played like I tried to get into it, man, but I'm like way shit when it comes to games, man.
Yeah.
Like I normally, whenever I used to play games, it would be when I'd sort of like blaze as well, and I wouldn't be able to like know any of the controls.
Yeah.
So I'd try it for like half an hour and just get fucking annoyed at the fact that I couldn't even go out like the first fucking door, man.
Yeah.
I'm the same, man. I'm too busy having like an existential crisis. I'll be like, no. But
I got a they've got like a Fallout. They've basically got like every like kind of version of Monopoly you can get. But I like the old like one from like the wardrobe, but like in Mum's house, with like all the old money that I used to like have as a kid.
Love it, man.
Which is all just trash now because we kept throwing it up in the air and it kept landing in puddles and stuff.
Nice one, man.
Yeah.
So with this with the album you made, obviously you got a few features on there.
Yeah.
Talked about the guy from America. You've got George Bucks, who's he's due to jump on the podcast as well soon. So big up yourself, man. And he's based in Reading as well.
Kind of
you're
Reading,
from Basingstoke.
like
He's from Reading. I get it, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anywhere outside of Bournemouth, I'm just like, yeah, Reading, yeah.
Yeah. Reading's like pretty good like point to like start from. But yeah, I was trying to remember like I think Bucks. So with like Alpha, he like spit on a beat that I put up on Brap.
Yeah.
And then maybe like 18 months later, I finally joined Instagram and like followed him. And then I had no content or anything because I hadn't like started the album properly.
Yeah.
So I like uploaded the Brat video of Alpha like rapping, and then he's just like really nice and was like, oh, we've got to like work together. So I was like, cool, and then just flooded his like email with a load of beats. And we've got, I think he's quite busy with stuff at the moment, like in his personal life, but he's doing like 3 different 7-track like albums. I'm producing one of them, and then he's got like 2 other people doing the other ones. I think they're called like the Foundation, the Function, and something else beginning with F. I can't remember what it is. It's not that.
Alliteration.
It's not fucking.
I'm a big fan of alliteration, man.
But yeah, so like he's used a few beats, and then I was like, well, it's quite good if you like make beats and also rap, and then you want to get a feature, because a lot of people, if they're sort of like on like a similar level to you, where they don't like want money or anything, you could just give them like 3 or 4 beats and then say like, give me a couple of verses and that. So that's what we did. I did like a similar thing with George, and then a guy from Sheffield called Hierarchy. He's like,
yeah, he's on the second
Making
track or
Stones.
the 3rd track, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And but yeah, and then so Bucks, he did like a really good Fubar like open mic.
Oh man, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I think he's sick, man. He's got a good like kind of like low voice and delivery.
Yeah.
He's quite young, isn't he, Bucks?
He's 21.
21. That's
Yeah,
depressing.
It is.
That's depressing, man. That's depressing.
He's killing it, and like he did like a really good reference to like the shopping centre at Reading. So I was like, I know this guy's like fairly local then, and like checked out his like Insta and like hit him up and stuff, and then just sent him a few beats.
Mate, that's really kind of like yeah, that's proactive networking, man. That's stalking. He's like, yeah, he's in Reading. I've got this motherfucker now. I know where you live, boy.
That's my like, but anyone like that I like on Fubar, like on the open, like this, like I know you've talked about it on air.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
like, it's a fucking shame that they like, killed it off, because like the open mic thing was so good for like new people, or just seeing like, do you know what I mean, like Split Profits and Baxter on there, and like just so many heads. Especially because they're doing like rapping with like unknown people, and then everyone's like getting like 2 or 3 verses and that. But yeah, with Bucks, I like hit him up, and then his video guy, because I think when I messaged him, he like just released a video, so I like followed like the video guy, and then like chatted to him and stuff, and he was like, oh, like I've just started like my YouTube channel, will you like follow me on that? So I think I was like the 2nd or 3rd person to follow him, and he's like got like hundreds of people on there now. And I was like, oh, if I like get in with the video guy, like on the ground floor, and then I said this to him when we did like the 1st or 2nd video, I was like, oh, like, your stuff is really good, but because you just started, I was like, I'm gonna wait until you've done like maybe 10 videos, so you've like worked out all the kinks and that kind of thing. Yeah. And then hit him up, and we did Call Me, and then that was like a lot of fun. And then when we did Hulk Hogan, he like got like a new camera and stuff, and like it was like shit hot on like Adobe Pro. And we've just done like a few like videos a couple of weekends ago with Hierarchy. So I basically want to do like a video for like every track on the album.
Really?
Oh yeah, because it's only 8. I'm like, it's quite easy to do that.
Yeah.
So we did like Hierarchy lives in Sheffield, but like due to like his like circumstances and that, he like doesn't drive and does like can't like get out of Sheffield that easily to like come and make videos. And so about like 2 months ago, I like got in touch with Harry's like Hot Recording Studios, like the video guy, and was like, oh, I think we should do like a road trip and like go out to Sheffield like in about like a few weeks, and then message Hierarchy. It was like, oh, I know you like don't really like do much, and he's got like kind of anxiety problems and stuff like that, but I'm coming up in like on this day.
I'm outside your house.
Yeah, like me, who we've never met, and like a guy you don't know are going to come up, and we're just going to like drive around and film videos.
It's basically our lives, man. Let's get guerrilla podcasting.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? And, so we've got like, so we did like a video for Making Stones, like on the album, and then me and Hierarchy have done like we're like sort of wrapping up an EP together as well, which is like a bit more lo-fi, and like he's produced half of it and I've done half of it, and then we basically just do like it's one of those like sort of textbook like rap like tunes where all of them are like film quote, 16
Yeah.
bars, film quote, 16 bars, film quote.
Because you got quite a lot of like pop culture references in your lyrics anyway,
Yeah.
don't you? Obviously just like, you know, Hulk Hogan. It's kind of akin to say like an Action Bronson style. You know, you got like a name of like Larry Zonka or whatever, like a wrestler, and you're just like, okay, let's like bring it back to this thematically somehow. So so what are kind of your inspirations behind your lyrics and your bars and stuff?
Well, I think like the main kind of two things are like punchlines and the flow.
I love that, man.
Like,
That's
like
Yeah.
I just like people like self-titled.
Oh
and
man,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like,
I
I just
fucking
love
love self-titled, man.
And
I
the thing
love
where you
self-
could like get a joke in,
Yeah.
or if it's not a joke, if it just sounds like hard as fuck, like Ill Bill or something like that. I kind of draw the line with like 90% of everything Necro says.
Oh man, Necro's one of those like dudes where I mean I quite like that album he did with Cool G Rap, but you know like is it the I Need Drugs album?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bit too Ill Bill's actually got the flow with it as well. Though, do you know what I mean?
He's a good producer. I think it's a shame. I know a lot of people kind of hate Necro. Like like his lyrics are like super questionable, but he's fucking like one of the best producers I think, especially for like sample like based hip hop. He's really good. Like I really like just 2-bar samples. Like most of the things I think on my album are like just 2-bar loops.
But yeah, man, like Self-Titled and Apathy, I think like they're probably two of my favourite rappers. Like just Self-Titled's just that delivery, but it's very like it's aggressive, but it's really comical.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And as you say, like everything's a metaphor for a gun. Like, everything.
That's what I really liked about Sonny Jim's like.
My flow game went from to goddamn that boy's cocaine. Just like the way he's like cadence and like the way he does fire those punchlines, just absolutely incredible.
Did you ever see the K Coke fire in the booth?
K Coke.
Yeah.
That was sick.
No.
That was sick.
Yeah.
So
Is that a lot
you're
of
talking
punchlines?
about you're talking about like so basically like K Coke, like UK grime artist, did a legendary fire in the booth years ago with Charlie Sloth. And his bars were all about his gun, wasn't it? But he was rapping
so it's
about
like 2-part, and then the second part was all about his gun, but he was rapping it about it like it was a woman.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there are only like parts where you can kind of like say like something like I like to like shine you like the nose or something like that, or you've got a big nose and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like after a while you kind of think, well, hang on a sec, like he's rapping about this whole thing is about his gun, man. He goes in so
nice.
hard. Definitely recommend giving it a listen.
Yeah. Oh cool, man.
But yeah, no, it's a good one. Isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, man. I think that's sorry, mate. I wasn't listening to you, but no, I think that I like kind of stuff which is well thought out, but
Metaphorical, isn't it? And it's sort of like storytelling, and but also like the whole thing. Like he keeps so in character, and it's like, well, how long was it? Like 7 minutes or something like that, man.
Yeah,
really?
That might be an over exaggeration. It's probably like 2 minutes, but
yeah, I do love that
nice.
fire in the booth, man. That was
Send me a
pretty
link
sick.
for that.
Yeah,
no, check
Check
it
it
definitely.
on
out.
Instagram.
yeah.
Nice.
Are you a fan of like Apathy as well, or like?
I like. Well, I got into. I can't remember. I think I got into Jedi Mind first.
Yeah.
Like Legacy of Blood.
Yeah.
Which is fucking great beats on that one. And then from that, I think I had heard a self-titled or like because he's like sort of in that.
Yeah.
Like,
He's in like Army of the Pharaohs and stuff.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then I think. Actually, I think it was just saying as simple as like do you know the catalogue?
Yeah.
The self-titled one.
Yeah.
That was just like on sale.
Yeah.
And it's like a 4-disc like album.
But it's weird because he used to like refer to himself as like N, didn't he? Like he used to use that word about himself, and he's like white, and it was just kind of
Did
like
he really?
Yeah, it's really
Fucking
weird,
hell,
like
man,
because he's Cuban or something, but still like doesn't really constitute or warrant like
That.
being able to get away with saying that. So it's a little bit weird.
Weird one, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
flowed
like,
so well. Like when you listen to it, like okay, you know, like Fat Joe or like
Like Be Real.
Be Real, but Be
Yeah.
Real, like you kind of like Hispanic rappers often kind of there was almost like a pass for them. If that
Yeah.
makes sense, like you were kind of like okay, fair enough, like Puerto Ricans, Hispanics, Mexicans, and whatnot. But like a white rapper, and he was like, yeah, I'm Cuban. It's like, yeah, you're white,
Yeah.
mate. Like it's just a little bit kind of like
There's
it's just a little bit jarring.
one of the guys they have on Drink Champs early on. I think it's Scott Storch.
Yeah, man.
Says it like tons.
Scott
man.
Storch
It's
is off
crazy.
kilter at the moment, man. I mean, he started out in the Roots, didn't he? He was like the keyboard player in the Roots, and then he went on to
He did stuff with like Eminem.
and
like,
Fat Joe, all that
yeah.
stuff. Like Lean Back, he produced all those tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's a weird dude, man. If you look at him, he's just like plastic face. Probably just has a diet of like weed and cocaine.
Yeah. You ever seen his videos where, like, he's got loads of videos where he's like playing the keyboards and just smoking like a massive bitter. And there's videos where he's like at like Thanksgiving like dinner with his family and like his mum and his kids, just a fucking huge like joint on the go. You're like, man, just cool it around like your mum and kids. Just 2 seconds, man. Okay.
Yeah, man, that's amazing.
Funny.
That's amazing. So one of the lyrics in your I can't remember which track it was. Yeah, So Nice, So Fresh. That's it.
Oh yeah, we're just George.
When you said Harvey Weinstein, your entire rhyme scheme. Wordplay. I thought that was absolutely jokes, man.
We've got to get a Harvey reference in.
Yeah, makes it nice and current as well. Yeah. So what else are you listening to at the moment? Like, do you predominantly listen to rap? Do you listen to a lot of other things?
No, I
as
listen to like tons of different things. I'm like, you guys like aren't into like house or anything, are you?
I don't really like house that much, but
No.
I can appreciate
So I like
some of it.
So yeah, I'm quite into like house and like techno and that kind of thing. And then it's mainly hip hop, and then kind of folk music. I'm like well into as well, which I think is a lot from like producing and like looking for samples.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know there's like a podcast called Mixtape Assembly, where it's basically like Desert Island Discs, but it's not like dames and fucking like people you've never heard of like on the BBC and like just kind of boring. But they've had like Mongo on, and, like Mud Fam and stuff, and they had Farmer G on, and he just had loads of like folk and sort of world music and that kind of thing.
I suppose you need like producing your own stuff. You need a keen ear for because Aiden, like you've done some producing yourself and you've made beats, really sick beats. He made the beat for the intro to
I was
the
going to
podcast.
ask, I really like that one.
By the Sea, but
Thank
check
you,
it
man.
out, sick beat. So obviously you have you need a keen ear, and you're often exploring all these different obscure records, and people often say they're digging. You dig through a lot of crap, and then you find like a nugget of gold, and you're like, oh wow, this is gonna work.
I mean, folk is really good for like strings, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You could get like little sort of guitar things, and they quite often. I'm trying to think. I think like religious. Well, like if it's from the 70s, they talk about this on like River Roulette all the time. That, like if it's got like a cool cover or it's from the 70s, right up to like 79, it's probably good. Anything in the 80s. Don't bother.
Yeah.
And then like unless it's
Why is that?
Like,
is that because of like
it's
Simpson
all just
stuff
the
coming
Simps
in?
and that, yeah. I mean, you can't like on Rhythm Roulette they do a lot of stuff with like Simps, and I think like there'd probably be like a bunch of producers listening who are like all the best things I've done are like from the 80s.
LP and people like that, because he did one, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he's quite obviously like Run the Jewels is very, that way inclined.
It is, yeah.
As opposed to like a Ninth Wonder who would do like a soul or a folk record.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it just depends on the aesthetic of the producer.
I think if you like people like Leaf Dog, are like mainly because all his stuff is like you can tell it's like Leaf Dog.
Yeah, it's incredible. Such a talented producer, isn't he?
And I think like
Beatmaker.
he is just like from the funk and soul sort of like
Just
get stuff from that.
When I was listening to like the Confessions of a Crud Addict album that dropped, a lot of the beats kind of reminded me of the early to mid 90s like Mobb Deep kind of stuff, the kind of like very heavy bass coming through, like the piano loops in like Crud Addict and stuff like that. I thought, wow, this is very much like a 90s Boombap record.
Yeah.
But it works so well, like it complemented each other.
What's the one he dropped when he released the album that's like got the camera sort of like attached to him? He's like playing dice and he's like barbecue and stuff.
Fuck, that's the one that dropped recently, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's like a guitar sample.
Cookbook.
I think, yeah,
Cookbook.
Yeah, and is it Crud Lord? The whole beginning of Crud Lord. I mean, like the first like 30 seconds of it is just like a beat, and it's just like a vocal sample as well. Mm-hmm. I think it's Crud Lord.
Because we talk about like in the episode dropping soon, R.A. the Rugged Man, because he's in.
I fucking love Rugged Man.
They sampled him in one of the tracks on his album as well, and he was saying how they car shared with him, like the Split Profits car shared with R.A. and he was just like just this totally off kilter guy. But yeah, man, RA's been like a favourite of mine for a while. Like lyrically, just I love personality wise. Like I think if you are like a rapper or if you're an aspiring rapper, like as a fan of rap and as someone, if you want to gravitate towards an artist and you invest in their music, personality is like a big percentage of that. Yeah. Like almost like a character that you're portraying. And R.A. the Rugged Man is such a character. You buy into that character. Like Action Bronson, you buy into that character. Yeah, they've got fucking skill on the mic. Yeah, they got stage presence and whatnot. But for the most part, it's like, I really like Action Bronson. I'd hang out with that guy. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you buy into that as well. And it's same with UK artists as well. Kind of some of the people we've met, like Dat Kid, like Rez, all kind of those types of people where you think, you've built this kind of, you are ultimately being yourself, but there's a character, it's very intriguing. Yeah.
And I think like Rugged Man's really good for that.
Yeah.
He's got like more, not like sensible, but
he's become a bit since he's had kids and stuff. Yeah, he's definitely calmed down.
He's so cool. I saw him at Boombap. I think it was where like because that kid like headlined one of the nights at Boombap when Rugged Man was there, I think, and like Task Force was there. Like the lineup was just mental. But when Rugged Man was playing, I think he did like 3 or 4 tracks and like every like fucking hip hop show, like the sound setup was like just a bit like shaky and you couldn't really hear like everything he was saying. And then he did, but like people were like, oh, it's Rugged Man and like it's Boombap, so everyone's just like fucking getting wavy and stuff. And then when he did Uncommon Valor, that's like lyrically like his best track, or like one of like the best verses.
Yeah, he got like the verse of the month in Source magazine when it came out. Yeah, it's a sick track. You heard that one? It's about like his dad's experience in Vietnam, like Sergeant Forburn was his dad, and it's all about like how he contracted like Agent Orange, and then how his kids were all born with disabilities and stuff. And the verse is ridiculous. Yeah. So like Vinny Pat, it's a Jedi mind trick, so like Stoop produced beat, and Vinny just spazzes on the first verse. He's like really really hard, but then like RA just bodies it. Yeah. It's incredible.
He just does like a wicked story about like his dad in Vietnam and like why he's there and. Like there's a helicopter crash and he's like fighting for his life and then he like wakes up and like in the hospital and stuff like that.
It paints such a vivid picture though, and like the kind of his flow is just incredible in it, but it's really articulate, it's really eloquent, you can hear every word, like it's pitch perfect.
So I first got him into RA through that Afro song that he did.
Is that the really fast one?
Yeah man, I thought that was incredible. As Afro, RA Afro, and I can't remember who else it was actually.
Oh, it's what's the name of the track? It's gonna really wind me
Someone else is just like mad fast.
Freedom from the flowing.
Freedom Form Flowing.
Gift
of Gab, that's it. Yeah, Gift of Gab. Yeah. Afro's sick, man. I mean, he did a really good EP with Marco Polo as well.
Oh yeah, Marco Polo's never good.
Oh man.
But yeah, when he was at with the like shitty mic and everything at Boombap, like people were like, having a good time. He did Uncommon Valor. He got about halfway through the verse, and people were like getting a bit like pissed and like vocal and stuff, and basically like just saying we can't hear you. And he sort of got almost towards the end of his verse, and he was like, "What? Can you guys like not understand what I'm saying?" And everyone's like, no, the mic's fucked. And then he got like a different mic and then like talked into it, and he was like, "Oh, that's much better." And everyone's like going crazy, and he's like, "Do you want me to do that again?" And everyone's just going mental and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, I love like coming to England because you guys like fucking love lyrics." And like most clubs or whatever, people would just be like, "Oh, the beat's like I'm dancing to the beat," but like he was sort of giving the impression that like there's not a lot of places where people would be like, "We can't like meticulously understand all the words you're saying," and it just made him like redo it.
I'm so jealous you went to Boombap.
It's wicked. And then they do obviously, do they? But it was good, man.
Do you know the reason why I don't do it anymore?
I don't know actually, because they moved it to Bristol for a bit, to like Lakota, and then I don't know if I think it's just like a lot of work to do a festival, and I don't think
it will come back though. I think there'll be a resurgence of something in the UK hip hop scene. Yeah, it has to be.
I hope so, but I mean, could it have anything to do with because to book acts like RA, I'm sure that cost like a lot of money. And was there like a lot of people there, or was it? Because I suppose the UK hip hop community, although it is very strong, it's not huge, is it?
No, I think the problem, like, if it is like a financial thing, which normally with festivals it is, is that, like, on the last time they did it, like, in Peterborough, like, at a festival, I think Leaf Dog, I think, like, a lot of people sort of, like, there was a rumour that they weren't going to do it, and then one of the smaller stages, like, on the Sunday afternoon, Leaf Dog was, like, MCing with somebody and said, basically, like, if you've heard anything about Boombap not coming back next year, like, it's not coming back next year.
Yeah.
Like, maybe we can get, like, Ivan, who runs it, to, like, change his mind, so people have got to, like, email him, or, like, I don't know, just fucking, if you see him, just say, like, you've got to do it. But because it's, like, UK hip-hop, and I think people just do it for, like, the fun, a lot of the time, the fucking tickets were, like, so cheap.
Yeah.
And then there's only maybe 2,000 people at the festival.
Yeah.
And I
Sounds like my ideal festival. Cheap and fuck all people
it was
there.
like 70 quid or something for a 3-day festival with Task Force.
That's really good, but then I suppose that the time it would have taken the organizer, you know, takes months and months and months. You know, it's not financially like.
That's
viable,
it.
Yeah,
But then you've got like other festivals which are like 100, like Nostock is like 160, or like starts at like 110 and then goes up to like 160. Boombap is either 50 quid or 70 quid, I think. And like when me and my mate went, we got like VIP passes, which was like another tenner, and then we camped in the artist camping. Like there was like a little lane and stuff.
Sharing a bed with Chester P.
But like all the split profits were like just like here where the TV is, and then me and my mate were just like, split profits. There's like fucking Chester P walking through it. It's fucking nuts for like an extra tenner, and but yeah, I think like the vibe at the festival was like, it's shit if it's not going to happen again. But also, you're only charging 70 quid. Like, anyone here would pay 150 quid to come here.
I think I would pay,
Yeah. Have you been to Boomtown?
Been to Boomtown, yes.
So so it's that kind of vibe. Yeah. Like, everyone, like, is like just super nice, and like any fucking hip hop gig. Like, like really friendly.
They've got the high focus takeover, haven't they? The at Boomtown this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the first one went to Boomtown. I can't remember what year it is, man. But it was still when it was like quite not many people. Like definitely did not sell out. It was like.
Do you remember who was playing?
Mate, that was a
then you
messy
were
weekend. That was a messy weekend for me.
It was a messy weekend for you last weekend, mate. Your tips.
But no, there was a high focus takeover there, man, and it was in one small tent, and it wasn't even like busy.
Yeah,
like, there was a fair few people there, but you can move around and like bounce around. And then I think the next year that I went, when they did it in like the Mayfair town or whatever, or Poco Loco, that's what it's called.
Yeah,
or Barry
in
Loco,
a bigger.
That's
Was that the one? So. There was one year where Baxter had his arm in a sling, which I think it wasn't that busy. And then the year after, I don't think Baxter was there, but it was in a bigger tent, and it was like one in, one out. And
it was
like
round. Yeah. And then
Props
it was kind of like, see, I really want to go, but it's just like you can only really stand outside the tent to go to like watch.
Yeah, so I did see it. Like that year, there was loads of things like that. Like, I think there's some. You might not be into him. This B Traits, who does like house and stuff.
Right.
He used to be on like One Extra. She was playing in like one of the big circus tents. I think it's the one now that's like a massive. Is there like a big stage that's like a kind of Mayan, not the like reggae one, but there's like a bunch of TVs and stuff. Anyway, it was just like a tent. But
I went the first year Arcadia wasn't there.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know which year that was.
Oh man. It might have been like, fucking ages ago then.
It was a long time, because I think I went, this year was the first year that I'm not going. I think I went, I don't know, if it was either 3 or 4 times on the trot.
Yeah.
And like it's a fantastic festival, and I think the last one was the last chapter, wasn't it? And then they're doing a new, like, sort of storyline or whatever, is that right?
Yeah.
Because it's an incredible festival, and it's sort of like, ballooned and just gotten so sort of big and so many people, which is it's a great thing, but then also, you know, small festivals that you can't really beat it, can you?
Yeah,
it's always that difficult challenge, like striking the balance between, like, you know, you want good artists, you want it to be relatively like cost effective, but then you need it to be sustainable, you want it to carry on, and in order to do that you need to obviously invest more money and you need to charge more for tickets. So it's
And
it's,
you are
it's
like on like a
difficult.
proper fucking like tightrope if you put
Yeah.
festivals on. So like, fair play to like
Yeah.
people like Ivan and stuff. Like there's a festival. It's not on now. It's called Blissfields, which is like near Winchester.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with like the people that put it on. And they did it for about I think it did 10 years, and then they were going to do the 11th year, and then about 3 or 4 months before the festival was going to be on, they were like, we haven't sold enough tickets. So
Shit.
we've got to can it.
Fire Festival. Was Ja Rule involved? By any chance?
Did you ever go to
Murder.
Secret Guard Party?
Yeah,
Because they've stopped doing that now, haven't they?
they did, yeah.
Oh,
And
I
that's
love,
Saturday.
I
That
love
was wicked.
festivals. Oh.
Oh, go fuck yourself, Tom, man. Who the fuck do you think you are, man? Trying to mug me off on mic, man.
Shotgun The Aux festival coming next year. That would
a
be
little
a fire
bit of,
festival.
But Jan Baxter performing in the sling, that's pretty commendable. I remember going to Run the Jewels in Kentish Town, and Killer Mike was wearing a sling at the time.
Oh, really?
And yeah, he brought it, man. That was an insane gig.
Mike Skinner, like, was supposed to be wearing one. Did you go?
You went to that, didn't you?
They didn't
I
win.
don't know if I can even talk now, Tom, mate.
Do
Oh,
our
I
own
love
podcast.
festivals. Mike Skinner. No, I remember. So Aidan
my
went.
headphones was going off in a minute, mate. I'm muting you, man.
Aidan went to the Streets gig in Brixton Academy, and I remember he came back and obviously spoke about in the podcast you just spoke about, and he was like, "Oh yeah, so Murkish Dave supported. Is that right, Aidan?"
Merkish Day supporting JK was there. as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
man.
that's what I was going
Yeah.
to get to. You were like, "Oh yeah, some guys just supported," and then I said on
week later.
Instagram, it was JK, wasn't it? You were like, "Oh yeah, it might have been." I said, yeah, JK supported. So going on to that, are you into your grime at all?
Well, I went to the streets at Brixton as well.
Ooh.
Do you know what day you went on?
Let me think. So
Was he just fucking banging on about virtual reality?
these guys, like, I don't know what's happened now. Like, it just sort of turned on me.
Oh no, mate, it's all love. It's all love.
I can't remember, man. I think I.
It must have been a midweek. You missed. We had to. I'm pretty
Oh yeah,
sure.
it was a Wednesday because we had to change the day of the podcast. So,
Yeah.
it was a Wednesday because we recorded on Thursday that week, didn't we? But yeah, man, it was the one in Brixton, as you know. Like it was.
We
it
went
was
on
great.
a Tuesday, and like 2 of our friends went as well. They were like downstairs, and
Yeah.
we were in the balcony bit because we bought tickets really late. But oh, man, I wasn't that impressed.
You weren't that
Like,
impressed.
Not on the Tuesday. Like my mate said, his friends went on another day, like
Shots
in Manchester
fired.
or something, and said it was awesome.
Yeah.
And you said it was good, but he was either like just being. He's quite like a strange guy, I think.
Mike
Yeah.
Skinner.
Anyway, yeah.
It's quite serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was like a bit pissed, maybe.
Super serial.
But he just kept banging on about like everything was being filmed in virtual reality, and like there's virtual reality cameras, and like in 20 years, like your kids will be able to watch this concert. So like, make sure you like give it like 100% tonight. So when your kids watch it in the future, they'll know like mum and dad. And like, he was just fucking so weird, man. And
I know. Like, are you talking about? Like obviously when the music's playing and like he just starts speaking because I know what
Yeah,
you
he
mean.
did
Like
that
he
a
does
lot.
he does like a lot of that, and I don't know about any like VR shit, but he does talk in our gig. He talks about a lot about
are you wearing trousers or skirts? He was talking about to like so women could go crowd surfing.
Yeah. He spoke about that.
So
yeah,
that
he got
was
all.
like a good sorry guys.
No, you go for it. You go for it.
So that
I'm
was like a
intrigued
good
by the
payoff
story.
because you were like, why does he keep asking people if they're wearing trousers or skirts? But then the VR thing just never. It was a game filmed. It was just super weird.
It was mad, but I think for me it was just being able to see the streets. Because
Yeah.
they were playing in Bournemouth as well, but that was my missus' birthday. I wasn't going to take her to go and see them for me on her birthday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I booked it to go up to London, and I think there was a massive thing about, wasn't there, that they've only come back because they've run out of money.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
When they first announced the tour.
I think it's the same with like most of the Wu-Tang Clan though as well. Like a lot of them are in debt. A lot of them are, like have like tax issues and all sorts. Allegedly, I say, like just on record. But no, I think that's the case with a lot of people. Like artistic types, you probably don't have the. I don't know. Do you know like they probably need like financial advisors and stuff. Right,
Yeah.
they're probably not too savvy with their
Not
money.
too
Some
good.
probably more than others.
Well, it's
but
like you get that paycheck, man. You're spending it, and then
Exactly.
next thing you know, a year's gone past, and you've got to sort. You've got to pay the tax.
surrounded by like yes men. They're just like, yeah, this is all right. Yeah, it's fine, mate. Yeah,
No,
you,
Jay-Z's
you spend
like
that, just
that.
have more cocaine, have more women, and yeah, then you're just fucking, your skin, and then you're a has-been, and you have to do like gigs in fucking Blackburn and Sheffield and shit. Like, so that which brings me on to a funny story. So my other best man, Adam, you know, he was on the Skirmish episode. So
big up, Adam.
Big up, Adam. So he went to see some of the D12 members and Obie Trice playing in some random. It was like Yeovil or somewhere.
Well, Smellington Piff.
I don't know. He might have been. I don't know. Possibly. Yeah. I didn't go, but the footage looked pretty sick, to be fair. But it was just like Swifty and one other of D12 and Obie Trice.
Yeah.
And I thought, why are you playing in Yeovil? Like, that's
Weird
so random. But
I follow them all on Instagram, and I do think they're really like clinging on to.
Oh, of course they are, man. Of course,
It's
especially
quite
like
sad.
Bizarre and stuff.
What were you saying?
No, D12,
D12.
like Obie Trice and just. I can't remember who else. I feel like Conniver and people like that.
Yeah.
I saw something on Instagram the other day, and someone
sad,
said,
really.
someone was like, "Oh, do you think Cheers by Obie Trice is a classic album?" And I was just like, "Really? Like somebody considers that a classic album? Fair enough if you do." And the people underneath were commenting like, Americans probably like, "Yeah, it's a classic album." I was like, "Fucking hell, I only remember that like one song from an album."
Is it no teeth? Is it Got No Teeth?
Got No Teeth, yeah. Yeah, Christ, man.
So they did that super weird thing on the first D12 album, didn't they? Where like he does
got
like,
some teeth in it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Got some teeth.
He does like the Obie Trice Real Name No Gimmicks. Like just comes in. They like just have an advert like halfway through their album. But yeah. Fucking funny.
Oh man, it's just like I don't know. That is very much like a product of its time, like early to mid 2000s hip hop.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's very dated, you know, in terms of video content and stuff. I think 90s and 80s has aged really, really well in terms of like fashions and styles and all that kind of stuff. Like it's still utilised now, obviously, in UK hip hop is very much like your 90s Boombap is basically UK hip hop.
Yeah.
But that mid 2000s, you know, like oversized hats and just kind of like weird music videos, it just seems to have dated really, really badly.
I think you're right. I think like the music as well, like that's why I like samples so much, is because like 90s stuff is like aged fine, where like all the sampled things. And I think like with UK hip hop, that will carry on to like age well, because if you're using samples, you're already using something that sounded great in the 60s or the 40s. So you're like, this has sounded good to me now, so like it's probably going to sound good for another like 10 or 15, 20 years or whatever. But if you're just using like fucking loads of synths, like all the...
say that. Synths don't age well, do they?
That's
like
why
samples
like...
synths don't, man.
You never like get... like vinyls and stuff from the 80s, or I don't, because they're all the 80s sounding synth,
like the heavy like drum machines as well, like real heavy stuff.
All that technology came in, and like I really like Zeppelin, and as soon as it hit the 80s, or maybe I think it was the 80s, like they just started using synthesizers and stuff, and like it just all went to shit.
I do like a lot of that stuff though, like, but not maybe through like a hip hop lens. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like a lot of that kind of retro sounding like 80s synthy stuff from like horror films and stuff. You know, like John Carpenter and all that kind of thing. I think that's pretty dope.
They're all like quite baseline orientated as well, weren't they? Like,
very simplistic as well, a lot of it. But no, I hear you though, man. I think like if something sounded good back then, it's probably why people utilised it at the time, because like the fundamentals of rap music, people repurposed records into something else, you know. And when we had Mo Sick on, like a local rapper, he was saying how I always posed the question, like, do you think that like UK hip hop's like stuck in the boom bap era? And I've gone through like a bit of a learning curve, because like people we've interviewed since then, it's kind of like, well, that is essentially what it is, and you should kind of embrace it for what it is. And I'm like, I'm kind of like, I totally understand that, because it is like the aesthetic that I gravitate towards anyway. But he was talking about when Black Moon first produced that album, and it was kind of the only technology they had available to them at the time. And it's almost kind of like, well, why hasn't it evolved since then? If that makes sense. So you can use new technology, but then again, the counter argument is, if it sounds good, then why?
Yeah. For going back to Dr. Dre, like obviously the Chronic and Doggy Style, they
Mm-hmm.
use like a lot of like Simpsons stuff like that. Obviously, that Dr. Dre's signature sort of stuff. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's obviously stood the test of time, man.
Mm.
And so it can sort of.
But
it
that's
does
still
sort of
like
work.
that stuff's still like from '60s shit, though, isn't it? Like,
Is it?
Yeah, that's all like soul music and stuff, isn't it?
So is it?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't think of the name of the
I
song.
can't remember the name of the song. There's
Straight
this.
out of Compton,
Oh,
where
right.
he's led on the floor with records all around him.
Yeah, there's a
Can't
really
remember the name of the
famous.
song.
There's like quite a good album on Spotify where it just has all the break beats on,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's got like like My Name Is by no.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Here's My Name Is.
Lammy Sifri.
Yeah, that's
I've got the
it.
blues. Yeah,
Do-do-do.
it's fucking great that one.
Yeah, loads of good stuff on there, man. So going back to you, man. What's next for Mick Swagger? How's the reception of the album been, man? How's it all going?
Yeah, it's good. I think. I did realise that doing UK hip hop, no one has any money, so like
love
sales
it.
are like not good. But yeah, I just like doing it anyway. So the next things are like doing the videos.
Mm-hmm.
We've filmed. I'm trying to do one with like Alpha, because he's from Queens. It's quite difficult to like do a video together. Like Harry, who does my videos here, was like, well, just film you doing something and then film him doing something, and we'll like chop it together. So I've like filmed some stuff. I basically got my mate. I bought like it's like a gimbal. So like it keeps you can film on your iPhone.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a Steadicam kind of thing.
Uh huh.
So I got one of them, and then just went to my mate's house in the garage, and like got him to just shine a torch in my face. So, like it was like a kind of like
Rough and
police.
ready,
Like,
That's UK hip hop, man.
That's it. So I
Improvise.
sent that to Alpha, and he's just got to do something similar, and then hopefully we can like cut it together. And then I've just got like a couple of other ones. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to go about getting Slumrock on it. I'd like to do a video because I think like it's good that I got him.
Yeah.
Just like
So just to elaborate, Stinking Slum Rock, Blah Records. Obviously, he's UK hip hop. He's a sick rapper. So yeah, man, he's on. What's the name of the track that he's on?
Corruption and Filth.
Corruption and Filth. Yeah, like that, man.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
Try to make it work, man. Try to make it work. See what
Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas. I don't like. He's just like mad busy all the time, and I think he's working on his own album at the moment. But I'm trying to like. Do any of you guys do like amazing animating and do it for free?
No,
That's like
unfortunately
a
not.
super easy way
Let's
to do it.
outsource. So any listeners who are into animation,
Hit us
wanna
up.
hit
Yeah.
our boy here, Mick Swagger, then at Mick Swagger,
Yeah,
hit him up.
Mick Swagger UK.
at Mick Swagger UK, hit him up. Hit him up. Not the cartoon character, but the actual Mick Swagger rapper. Yeah.
Yeah, Jake, you know a lot about anime, don't you?
He's into
No.
cosplay.
Cosplay.
Is it
is it?
hentai?
What the fuck? Never heard of that.
So moving swiftly on. So all right, man. So you've brought your mug with you as well.
Yeah.
We've touched upon the
Got my
Monopoly
merch.
money, man. Hold it to the camera. You got to get the merch, mate.
I'm gonna
I love that, man. Like the first thing you do, you have coffee every day.
yeah.
Make it a practical piece
My
of
own
merchandise.
album artwork, like a real psycho.
Egomaniac, just like. No, I like that, man. I like that. Merch is where it's at.
It is, man.
So before we wrap up, is there anyone you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, so obviously, like, check out Villianaire. It's on, like, everything. Ideally, get it on Bandcamp. It's a $5. Or, if not, it's on, like, Spotify and, like, Tidal, like, Apple Music, like, all that shit.
That's so niche putting it on
Is it
Tidal,
on
though.
Tidal? Yeah.
Well, I've got, like, there's a
Get
company, what you got to
JC
do...
features on there.
What you got to do to get it on Spotify is you could do it with podcast stuff like with like Buzzsprout or like
Yeah.
Audio Boom. You've got to get like a similar thing to like distribute your albums, which is like a bit of a ball ache. But they put it on like Spotify for you and Tidal and
Yeah.
like Amazon Music and stuff. So yeah, everywhere you can like stream music is there.
Nice, man.
And
So what do you want to say about like the album generally in terms of like what can you expect from it to anyone?
Well, I think if you like kind of high focus like Blah Records, that kind of thing, if you just like kind of punchline hip hop and it's all like sample beats and it's pretty textbook, like UK hip hop. I think really.
Love that, man.
I got Chemo to mix and master it.
Really?
Yeah.
Where he's in like the Far East, isn't he? He's in like Asia or somewhere.
He's in Madrid now.
Because didn't he did Jam Baxter's album, didn't he?
Yeah,
man,
he
Chemo's
does, like,
been around a time. How did you track him down, man?
help his way. He does like mixing and mastering from like wherever he's like living.
Is he even a real person? He's just like.
But yeah, he's awesome. So he, he's really nice to like deal with and that. And so on Hulk Hogan, like the end bit, when I like did my mix of it. So obviously, like you send off all the stems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you say like, I want this a bit louder, or like I want it to like fade in here and that. So he does all that. Does like a great mix and like master it all down and stuff. But so at the end of Hogan, I do like the last line, and then whenever like the bass kick is, I just like stopped it, and then like my lyrics sort of, there's a bit of delay on them and stuff, and then that was it. And then when he sent it back, he'd like added, like extended the beat, and then added like all the hand claps and stuff like that, like all the stadium roars, and
It wasn't real that he weren't like performing in front of an audience.
I was like, where are you playing this to? and like with Starshine, he like extended the like end of it, and yeah, so he's fucking like great to like. He doesn't just like do the levels.
Yeah.
Like get involved and stuff like that. Like in a really like.
That's good to hear, man. That's actually
way.
like nice that he like really takes pride in what he does. Obviously, he's a dope producer from back in the day as well. Like
so many like great remixes and stuff like that. That's what I really want. Like, so if people buy it, then like any money I make from the album, I'm just gonna spend on
making more.
Like, yeah,
that's what it's all about, man.
So I've got like kind of Chemo like to do it. Well, I want him to do a remix, but I'm not. We're saving for a house. Like, so I'm not allowed to like be buying
splash out music
remixes and like
fair play, mate. Priorities and all that.
But yeah, I want to shout out like everyone who's on it as well, like Hierarchy. There's a guy from Sheffield, Alpha Memphis, Slumrock, Connie Bond, who does like the outro track.
That's a sick track as well. Really like that,
Cheers,
man.
I really like that one. And yeah, George Bucks as well.
Big up yourself.
Me and George are doing like Nostock for like the UK hip hop guys. So if anybody's going there, come and check us out on the Friday.
Yeah, man.
He hooked like I think he already knows like the UK hip hop guy, and then when I put a couple of videos on their website, George was like, "Oh, it's cool. You're like chatting to those guys and everything." And then out of the blue, he sent me a message like George saying like, "Oh, I've got you like this gig with me at Nostock. Like I told the UK hip hop guys you DJ for me." And I was like, "Oh, cool. I don't know how to DJ. I haven't got like any decks." So I was like, "Do you think we'll be okay if we just like plug a phone in and then play the beats off there?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's probably fine." So,
yeah, big up UKHH, UK Hip Hop, man. They do wonders for the scene, man.
I do, man.
They've got a good YouTube following, good like the blog as well, man. They do like album reviews, don't they?
Yeah, so he did like so because they put the like Hulk Hogan and Call Me like on their website.
Yeah.
And then I just like really like nice to deal with, and I'm playing the festival. I sent one of the guys like the album.
Yeah.
Just as like a pretty like self-promoting kind of thank you really, but he was like, "Oh, cheers for sending it." And then later that day he was like, "Oh, I sent it to like some people who do reviews. I'll let you know if anything comes back." And then that evening he was like, "Oh, someone's done a review." It was like, yeah, just super nice like review, and yeah, really like good of them to like hook that up for me.
Sick, man.
Yeah, shout out UK hip hop as well.
Big up, man. Big up. And yeah, thanks again for jumping on, man.
Yeah,
thanks for coming down as
So
well.
what track do you want to play out with?
Oh shit, man. Maybe do. I really like Making Stones.
Making Stones.
Yeah.
All right, man. Yeah, let's do that.
Cool.
But before we do, Aiden, where can you find this podcast, man?
So you can find. Well, what's your handle on Instagram? Is it?
Oh yeah, at Mick Swagger UK.
Big up.
There
Give
it
that a follow, man. So we're Shotgun The Aux. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and
YouTube as well.
We're on YouTube, man. Go subscribe. You can find the episode videos on there. Unfortunately, you can't find the actual like songs and stuff on YouTube, as you know, copyright is a
It
thing.
will fuck you.
But yeah, you can listen. We're on all streaming platforms, man. Anywhere we're not and you want us to be, send us a message and we can probably find a way to get there. But yeah, thank you very much for following.
Yeah, man.
Subscribe
Thanks.
to everything, leave reviews, whatever. Help out. Big up.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
So we're going to play out with
Making Stones.
Making Stones by my
Featuring
boy.
Hierarchy.
Featuring Hierarchy by my boy Mick Swagger. Thanks again, man.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Nice.